teams have been incinerated.
2 teams were incinerated, like they've been replaced by other teams?
The entire team was incinerated as an action.
During the sun explosion?
No. During the ensuing season that started today.
The
election was delayed.
Crazy thing, man.
Yeah. And of course, as the teams were incinerated, they were then immediately replaced by new teams, right? Because that's what happens. Play can never stop.
Yep. Play can never stop.
Sounds like this is building up to something, though. A new god appeared. It seems like seems like plot is happening.
It's one of the plot seasons, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Plot season is here.
I'm excited to see what happens when they try to do that to the tigers, who are fireproof and cannot be incinerated.
What a good question.
I would like to know what will happen.
JJ, we could talk a little He-Man.
I am interested in talking about He-Man.
I can listen to that. I don't think there's enough spoiler. You can't spoil He-Man, I don't think.
I've only seen the first 2 episodes, so I can't
Same
spoil
here, so
more
it's
than
perfect.
that anyway. Oh, well, this works out. Great.
Okay. So we got a little...
I mean,
Yeah.
Can you spoil He-Man, though?
No. It's like...
We will try not to spoil He-Man for you.
Well, okay. I can catch up on He-Man soon. I just finished the Expanse, actually.
Oh, nice.
I could talk briefly about that. And He-Man was on the list of... I actually fell down a weird rabbit hole. I couldn't sleep. Hello. Welcome to We Were Gamers, episode 269.
Oh, hey. Okay. Yes.
And we're in.
Yeah. And we're here. I fell down a weird rabbit hole, and it led 2 directions. One was Netflix, and the other was a console, because I had a thought. Which one do you want to go down first? I couldn't sleep, so you guys are in for the ride of your lives here.
Let's go with the console.
Okay, so my first thought in the middle of the night was I was gonna pre-order one of those things from Steam, and I did it.
A Steam Deck?
Yeah, I did it.
Nice. Dude,
And you know what?
Yes.
And you know what I thought after that? I thought to myself, you know, the last time that someone tried to come up with a console on their own that's kind of outside the market? Do you guys remember the Wii U?
I don't know what that is, or do you mean the Ouya?
Ouya?
Yeah. Ouya? Ouya.
You pronounce this as Ouya? No, it's Ouya. It's Ouya. Okay. Even the pronunciation is right there. Okay.
Oh, good. Yeah. Thanks, Windows. Even Windows is mad at me. Ouya. Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
Ouya.
Ouya.
Yes, this thing is
I
terrible.
remember this. Yeah.
It was terrible at the time and continues to be terrible.
I hovered over canceling my Steam Deck after thinking about this and being like, wait a minute. This was like a disaster.
Here's the question. Which one did you order, though?
Yes.
I ordered the 512 NVMe.
I think that's the right choice.
The big boy one. I think that's the correct answer then.
Given the price of NVMe drives, it just didn't make sense not to.
So it's not like this is hot swappable, though. I want to make it clear.
That was why I was mentioning it, because it wasn't like it could get fixed later by a cheaper drive.
Yeah, and that's the important thing is like there was some discussion early on, and I don't know if we talked about it, that like maybe you could upgrade these or whatever. They pretty much came out and was like, well, like we're not going to stop you if you want to disassemble it, but you got to disassemble it.
Yeah.
and it's not just like, take some screws out.
You're unsoldering.
No, dude. Yeah. I don't think they said you have to unsolder it, but they said it's going to be serious. You have to remove a bunch of cables. It's not going to be easy.
I see.
So
it's unbuilding your own PC.
Right. So if you were going to buy one, I think either of those 2 expensive models is the right move.
Yeah, I think go for the NVMe controller and live with it. Either live with the expansion or not. Having been now totally and completely traumatized by the file size of Warzone, 512 is now my minimum size drive. But it's also, I thought about it and I was like, you know what? it wouldn't be the worst thing if it's a computer, and I put Windows on it or whatever.
That is the important thing, I think, with this that gives it more usability than people are reckoning with. At the end of the day, if this Linux thing that they're running sucks and the compatibility is not as good as they claim, and it doesn't run games as well as you want, install Windows, play the same games then on Windows because it is now Windows, and maybe it still doesn't run as well as you want, but it's not going to be crashing because of weird Linux stuff, right?
Yep.
And it will. I mean, the games are the same, and now you can just run. You want to run weird emulators, you want to run whatever other kind of stuff you want on this thing. Go for it. And like, there's no way this thing isn't way more powerful than is needed to run, every emulator out there. Like, I could probably run the Switch emulator, right? Probably.
Yeah, probably. Anyway,
there's one of those out there.
Yeah, that was one tangent of my late night because I was up too late because of having been wine tasting. And the other was Netflix, because when you got to stay up in the middle of the night, sometimes you just fall down a Netflix rabbit hole. Did you know that there is a Canon Jurassic Park show on Netflix?
Jurassic Park has a canon?
Canon, like it's in the movie canon. It happens.
No. I know. That. I didn't know they had a
canon.
They
have two separate canons. They have the movie canon and then they have the book canon.
I see.
They exist separately. Yeah.
That sounds like a Michael Crichton didn't want to give up his books to the movie studios thing.
No, I think it's just that the books ended right after the second one, I think.
Right. I think they like nuke those islands at the end of the second one, right? I read those books a long time ago.
Yeah, and so the books are completely different than the movies. Just smashingly different when it comes to the second one, especially. And so they were just like, well, those clearly don't jive. And there's a show that takes place during all the new Jurassic World movies.
During?
Huh.
Yes, so the first season starts with some kids on an island. It's animated. That get left behind during the first of those Jurassic World movies. And then what's Speedy Wong's character's name? I can't even remember. Dr. Wu, I think. He shows up in it, and they have the crazy dinosaur from the second movie of the new movies in there. Yeah, it's crazy.
And these are just some kids are elsewhere on the island that no one saw during the movies. Yeah, they have an explanation for why they were over there, away from everyone. Okay. It's what it is. Whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I stayed up way too late watching that, and then I was like, well, this was kind of not a good plan, so I should watch The Expanse and clear my palate.
Isn't The Expanse a lot? Or did you just watch one episode or something? Because isn't there a lot of The Expanse?
There is a lot of The Expanse. Do you recall what happened with The Expanse at all? Or am I going to have to do
So it got canceled, and then it got uncanceled, and then it got canceled again and uncanceled again, or something?
No. So it got canceled on Sci-Fi, and then Jeff Bezos...
Sci-Fi, please. Sci-Fi.
Sci-Fi? Sorry. I apologize to all the Sci-Fi fans out there. I did not mean to take your self-designation abilities.
They changed the name, right? Just to be clear.
Yeah. They canceled it.
Our Lord and Savior, Jeff Bezos.
So he personally tweeted that he's like, I like this show, so we're going to bring it over to Amazon. It's oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I guess that's, but if you got the money, you might as well use it for something.
I mean, maybe it's a better use than going to space. Probably.
It employs an amount of people, probably similar to going to space. I don't know if it's better. I can't say that it's better. I mean, if they come up with some technological marvel from going to space, I don't know.
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet. He's got the biggest windows, though.
I mean, Look, if he's the one who invents transparent aluminum, I guess it's okay, but we're not there yet.
Jeff Bezos has completed ablative plating upgrade. You may now make starships from.
I know, right? Okay, sorry, we're talking about The Expanse.
Oh, I was just they're on their 5th of 6 seasons, and they stop apparently after the 6th season because they're not going to do half the books, the latter half of the books.
I see. So
there is apparent.
They've picked a conclusion and they're going to do that.
Yeah, there is apparently a concludable point in the books where you're like, we can just not go further from here, and people will think it's the end.
Because I was going to say, aren't there like a billion novels of this also?
9?
Okay.
Yeah.
Less than The Wheel of Time, which is also a show that Amazon is
Yeah.
I haven't read the books. I assume they're probably better than the show, as everyone always says. But, having now caught up on that show, I have to say it's quite good. The middle of the final season gets a little... all the characters... They do the thing that I hate when shows do, where they split up all the characters. Like, literally, every main character goes a different direction. And then you watch a whole season.
The somehow let's save on budget maneuver.
Maybe, yeah, that might be it.
It feels like that sometimes, anyway.
It sure does. Some scenes in this are quite long, and you're like, we can move on now anytime you're ready. But as a whole, I think over 5 seasons, that show is a very high quality, and there's some good surprises in there, and some guest characters and all that sort of stuff. It does some Game of Thrones ish stuff, where you're like, wait. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I definitely have had both the books and the show recommended to me by different people. One who didn't like the show, then recommended the books. Sure. And then the other person who did, and it's like, yeah, you should watch the show. So
I think you could. I think I haven't read the books. I can't say, but yeah. Wow. Well, we started off on a good trek here. Does anyone have should we talk more TV? We haven't talked TV in a while, I don't think. It feels like we've just been talking about controllers for like 3 months.
Because we kind of have.
It does feel like that, yeah. We're talking about TV, some olders, although I guess the Expanse stuff is somewhat new.
Yeah.
I know that, Michael, you have been watching a extremely new property.
Yes.
LOL, new. The Netflix, speaking of Netflix, a Netflix reboot / reimagining / I don't know. I guess is it just a sequel? I don't know how
this works. From the mind of Kevin Smith.
Yes. The Masters of the Universe Revelation is what we're talking about here.
Kevin Smith loves to connect things to other things, no matter how hard it is.
And I mean, I was not the biggest fan of the old Masters of the Universe cartoon from the 80s, which my understanding is existed primarily to sell toys.
Was it not invented to sell toys? I believe it was.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Just like G.I. Joe and all the other ones.
Right. So in that vein, I think the first episode of this really paid homage.
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of moments. So I've only watched the first 2 episodes, but there are definitely a lot of moments where I either recognize what they're doing from watching the original way back when, or I know enough about the way it's framed to know this is a reference to something that people who know the show better probably will smile about.
Yep. It definitely felt a lot like one of those. Didn't I have one of these when I was a kid? It's like, is this a toy I had? I don't remember. And maybe it was, maybe it wasn't.
Do you want to know a stupid piece of trivia that I remember from hearing about this show coming?
Okay.
How many episodes and seasons do you think the original He-Man and the Masters of the Universe was?
So they were doing 26 episode seasons back then. Maybe, I don't think it was that many seasons long. Maybe like 2.
Okay, you got that right. Yeah.
Oh, so I was right. It was two seasons.
2 seasons. How many episodes?
So what is that? 52?
130.
What?
65 episodes per season. I kid you not. This is a trivia thing that came up.
How is that? Okay. So they do like one a week? More than one a week.
I don't know.
Their season is over a year long if they're doing more than one a week.
I think the seasons did last longer than a year. They would have had to. I don't think they did more than one a week. I didn't get that far into the trivia, but I was looking at what they were gonna be connecting to, and I was
wild.
Yeah. It's one that stuck in my head probably forever.
Wild. So
can you imagine in the 1980s animating that thing and being like, how many of these are we doing? Are you nuts?
Well, so I think then also, right, a lot of that show and a lot of all of animation in the 80s was like reusing stuff over and over and over, right? It's like, okay, we've got to cut in that scene of He-Man transforming here. All right, go get the footage that we did the one time, splice it in, like doing exactly that.
Okay, so the new He-Man is pretty connected to the old He-Man. That's good.
But I think it's gone the exact opposite direction. There's only 5 episodes
total.
Yeah.
It's just done.
I think this is part 1.
I mean, maybe they're going to do more later, but as was released now, there are 5 episodes.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be a back half.
How long? 5. How long are the episodes?
30 minutes.
27 minutes.
Okay. Cool.
So I also have only watched the first 2, to be clear. I don't know anything beyond that either. So, Michael, this seems pretty good.
Yeah. You have to be willing to lean into a little bit of camp and a lot of nostalgia.
And look, it's still He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. So like, it's not, you're not coming here for like deep political intrigue or, like really highly crafted, detailed characters, or stuff that is like
super intricate plot development.
Right. Yeah. No, it is still a show for kids, and it still shows that it is a show for kids. But I think, if you're willing to lean into this stuff, like Michael said, it's pretty good.
So based on very cursory internetage, you are in the minority apparently on your opinion that it's good.
So Andrew, I was going to get into that, but thank you for making the segue for me. This show was well liked by critics in the pre-screening of what they did, as they do for some stuff, and has been reviewed extremely poorly by, I guess, some segment of the audience, for reasons I can't fathom. I like this show. What is bad about it? Maybe it gets bad later, I guess.
I don't know. I can't
possibly.
I try not to read that stuff because I don't. If I'm interested, I'm interested. It's not going to matter. I'm either going to quit in the middle or I'm going to watch the whole thing.
And I mean, when it's only 5 episodes, it feels like a pretty low commitment,
It's the same amount of time you'd put into watching a movie.
Or a couple episodes of The Expanse in the middle of a wine-intoxicated evening.
There you go.
Yeah. I guess worth saying, thus far, at least in the first 2 episodes, we have been primarily following Teela.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Did I say the name right? Okay.
I think it's Teela.
Yes, it is.
And not to say that He-Man himself has been absent, but certainly not the main character in these first 2 episodes.
Do they have the same outfits, or do they update the outfits?
He-Man certainly has the same outfit.
He-Man certainly
does. I mean, you can't.
I don't know. I don't remember enough about some of those old characters to know if their outfits are the same.
Okay.
But certainly Teela's outfit has been updated.
Teela kind of looked like a knockoff Wonder Woman at the beginning.
Yeah, she doesn't really look like that.
That's good.
Evil Lynn, I think, looks pretty similar. Maybe there are some changes I'm not like astute enough to pick up. Skeletor still looks like Skeletor, although maybe his face is a little different.
Okay.
Yeah. Those are the characters I remembered, so yeah. I'm gonna keep watching this. We'll see how far, if I like decide it gets bad later or something and we fall off, but I can't fathom why anyone would be upset at this unless they just really don't like Teela for some reason. Maybe she was super annoying in the original show and people don't want her back. I don't know.
That would be a Kevin Smithism to pull back on characters that people didn't think were important. He tends to do that kind of thing, especially in some of the comic stuff he's connected to with Batman and Green Arrow. Well, you know what we never talked about on Netflix? Somehow, I don't know how we got this far, JJ.
What now?
How did we get this far without talking about the finale of Castlevania?
Wait, did we not really talk about that on here? I could have sworn we did.
Michael, we need a ruling.
Not that I recall. I know we put it on the list one day to discuss, and then I think might have not gotten to it.
Man. All right, well, we definitely should talk about that. That's another thing. I watched that a long time ago at this point, it feels.
It does feel a long time ago, doesn't it? Huh. What a ending.
They really do make an ending out of it, right?
It feels like the season before this could have been a slightly bit shorter. But at the same time, I don't know how it all would have worked out without knowing all the stuff that they created in that previous season to get to the point that at the end, Michael, he's literally fighting death in an alternate universe.
Okay. I mean, that seems like a good finale.
That's a Castlevania thing too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Belmont's fighting death in an alternate universe. Spoilers, I guess. Shit. Sorry.
Yeah, we're spoiling the end of season 4?
Season 4.
Season 4.
Season 4. I
yeah.
remember, Andrew, and tell me if I'm wrong. I remember you and I both saying we felt like season 3 was wandering a lot and they were clearly building stuff.
Yes. Very much so.
Clear as day that was the case here.
Yeah, unfortunately for those vampires.
Yeah, it feels bad, man, getting introduced to all those people and then having them all be murdered.
Having them all be dusted by the sun.
Man. I guess I felt that then that it felt like they were building up to like a really big, longer arc for all this stuff. And it turned out to only be another season.
Yeah. It just sort of turned into an ending.
Yeah. I wonder, did they expect to get more seasons out of it than this? Or were they just kind of like, all right, we built up a story. Now we have the chance to conclude the story. We're good.
I don't know where you go. I mean, I don't know where you go before you start a new season focusing on Simon. Right? Like at this point, Michael Belnatus is pregnant at the end of this with
right,
Simon.
Sypha.
Okay.
Sypha is pregnant. Yeah.
Is pregnant with Simon Belmont. So, you know, if they're going to do another Castlevania, you kind of got to maybe reset a little bit.
But then, like, some of the characters are going to still be around, right? Alucard doesn't die. He's a vampire.
Sure.
So,
yeah,
he should still be alive and, you know, not old or anything. Although, I guess, you know, who knows? It's
animation.
Whatever you want.
Yeah. You can do whatever. I kind of figured that's what they were going because they, like, start to mention all that stuff. Like, oh, we're going to build a town around the Belmont Castle, and we're gonna like build a town around Dracula's castle, and we're gonna Sypha's pregnant with Simon, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, I didn't think of it that way, but you may be completely right.
I think it's popular enough that they could. I don't know if they will. I'm just saying, like,
yeah,
with the ending they ended up getting, I was a little
Netflix seems to be pretty common or pretty happy to like cap their shows off at some end and not, you know, continue them ad infinitum.
What did you think of that final I thought the final episode was the second to last episode and not the last episode. I'm watching this final episode, Michael, and there's this huge showdown between Belmont and Alucard. Like, everybody's fighting everybody inside Alucard's castle. Dracula's castle.
Yeah, tons of explosions, just like all kinds of crazy monsters.
Every soul is getting ripped apart by what's his name? The magician. Oh gosh, what's his name?
He's such a stupid, like, jerk of a name too.
Yeah. I can't remember his name now. Oh no.
Anyway,
and the magician's ripping everybody's dead souls out to make a key to the what's it called?
To the infinite
infinite
corridor.
corridor, which takes you between alternate dimensions, and he's gonna trap Dracula and Dracula's wife's bodies in.
He's gonna bring Dracula back and his wife together and merge their souls into one body.
Yeah,
for reasons
to create some sort of
perfect being.
Perfect. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. And then the whole thing
convoluted.
It is convoluted, absolutely. And then the whole thing takes a turn. The whole thing takes a turn on its head, and you've been watching a vampire the entire time who's like, actually, JK, I'm not a vampire, I'm death.
Saint Germain.
Saint Germain. That's right. That's the magician's name. Who is played by Bill Nighy. Yeah. And
classic villain.
What's his name? The guy that plays Death is like the dude from Star Trek Next Generations, right? It's
Is it?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Now I'm gonna have to look that up.
I believe you.
Which I heard his voice and I was like, why are they making him play such a crazy, like, ineffectual,
a lot of reverb or something? Yeah.
Yeah, like he's not a very effective vampire or anything like Malcolm McDowell. I'm pretty sure is the guy that plays. And then the entire thing, it's totally him. Varney the Alchemist, aka Death. All of a sudden he's like, nah, this is fine. I'm just gonna blow everything up and kill everyone, and all the plans that you've been watching for the last bunch of this show are just over. It was weird.
Reset button.
It was still a very emotional ending there, I think. It had impact for me. I don't know. Especially if it had ended one episode early.
Yeah, so that was the thing. I think that like the episode after the last episode, not that it was bad, but it felt like if they were going to continue the series, they would have cut that last episode, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
By including it, you're kind of like, all right, they put a bow on this.
Yeah, they so did. Yeah. They put a bow on everything. Everyone came out okay that you kind of wanted to come out okay. Whereas
if they're going to do something else, it's going to be, they're going to call the next one Simon's Quest or something. They're not going to call it Castlevania Season 5.
So, Michael, I don't know if you want to know the end spoilers here.
Sure, yeah, you can get into it.
So they accidentally, because they break up Saint Germain's spells and all that, bring Dracula and his wife back to life. But like randomly in another place, and Dracula's like, no, let's just like run away together and not be part of the world anymore.
It seems like their souls escape from whatever weird prison
the infinite
thing,
corridor.
And they are reborn.
And so in the second to last, the penultimate episode, Trevor takes on Death by himself and has I would say, pretty amazingly animated fight with Death.
It's extremely cool.
It's probably the best scene in all 4 seasons. And then and he takes him out, but you assume he's dead at the end of it.
Got it.
Right. It is one of those, like, there is a big explosion and the door is closing and they have to, like, we have to close the door.
Yeah. Well, he kicks them out, right? He kicks Alucard and Sifa to the curb and says, I'll take care of it. And, go do the thing. And they make you go through like a whole bunch of the next episode too, assuming he's dead. And that part's great too. Like, all right, they killed him for real. And then he comes back and you're like,
Yeah. He walks in out of the forest, all
it's a Dracula's turn.
Yeah, I know.
Never really gone.
No one's ever gone. That's true.
No one's ever really gone. But overall, I would say this is a great show. I think if you want to, and the fact that it is not overly long, there's 10 episodes or less
per season.
Per season. The episodes are not like, they don't overstay their welcome. You can watch a few; it'd be good. It's a great show. I ended up liking it way more than I thought I was going to.
They do a great job humanizing 3 or 4 characters that you're like, oh, this person's a dirtbag. Oh no, he's
If
actually
you had
right.
told me after season 1, right, or during season 1, after the first few episodes of season 1, that several of these specific characters you would come to not only like but be rooting for, I would have told you were insane.
Yeah, especially
That's good development.
especially the Forge
A
Masters.
lot of the bad guys,
Yeah.
the Forge Masters for sure. A couple of the vampires, like people are.
Oh, when she walks out into the sun. Oh, that
know.
made me feel bad.
You felt bad, dude.
Yeah. They definitely did a great job. Hats off to was it Ennis that wrote that? I think it was Ennis, the comic book writer.
That sounds right. Yeah. We have to reiterate as strongly as possible: the show is not for kids.
Oh my god,
but it is a great show.
Never once for kids. Not at one scene.
No.
Oh boy.
It earns its adult ratings in every direction that those can be earned. Mostly the violence direction, but not in the other directions either.
You know who turned into a vampire on me?
Who?
That dude in the hotel in Celeste.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's not exactly alive himself.
Spoilers for a 17-year-old game or whatever it is.
Celeste is.
It's like
not that
5
old.
years old, I think. Maybe a little older. That level 3 is extremely hard.
Yes,
From like
especially compared to where you come from in the level before, it's probably the hardest jump in difficulty of any one stage to the next.
like extremely hard. I don't like get when like it was long. First of all, it's much longer than the first 2. I think it's probably as long as the first 2 chapters put together. And there's a lot of hard timing jumps in there, and like, okay, I've learned this jump, now I gotta go die on the next jump. And then that chase at the end is like,
that chase is really brutal.
oh, it's brutal. It was so brutal.
A little room for error.
Is this game supposed to make me not want to play?
I mean, to some degree, yeah. Aren't all of these this genre of platformers are? It's in line with the Super Meat Boys of the world, the Masocore kind of platformer.
I will never ever be a, what are those called? The Mario Kaizo runners.
Sure.
I do not have it in me.
I just want to be very clear. This game is way more fair than any Kaizo thing.
Truth.
It is difficult, but it is fair in its difficulty. I know maybe Andrew, you don't agree with me.
Oh no, I
but
don't
the difficulty
think
is fair. Unlike Kaizo, where there is often just cases of like, you did that jump, you jumped in the way we expected you to. There's a hidden block there. You fall to your death.
I don't think it's inherently unfair. I have run into some rooms where the patterns don't hold entirely perfectly. So like I'll make a jump sometimes, and then I'll make that jump 3 or 4 times, and then the next time I go through, the rotating blocks are not on the same pattern or something like that. But I have never felt like this is just unfair. I can't do what it's asking me to do. I just know that like there's definitely been rooms where I can't get that strawberry. I've tried for 25 minutes. I cannot get this strawberry, and I have to give up on it. But 1 and 2 were fun in their hardness. 3 got to me in the middle and was just like, every room towards the end of 3 for me was personally hard.
Yeah, it is meant to be difficult. So if you are feeling the difficulty, that is intentional.
Yeah.
And the other thing about that level in particular is that the difficulty, as I understand it, can vary based on which order you clear out all the junk.
Oh no, did I do it the hardest way possible?
It just kind of depends on what is hardest to you about platforming in that level.
I see.
So you can clear the stuff in any order.
Right.
Right. There's nothing illegal about, picking one road or the other road, but perhaps if you pick a different road, it could have made certain things easier or harder in other ways.
Yeah.
I definitely never went back and tried to do it another way. I don't know if I got lucky or not, but I'd also definitely, like, at certain points in that level was just like, I'm not even going to attempt to get this strawberry. I don't even care. Like, I just want to get out of this place. It's hard.
Yeah. I definitely, like, during the chase was still trying to get the strawberries, and I was like, oh god, this is just every time he does that little lightning strike slowdown, you know.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? We're on chapter 4 now, so
it also that lightning strike thing teaches you or preys on your like muscle memory in ways that, like, if you get into like a flow through the level, you're like bouncing off this and jumping off here and so on and so forth. The lightning will always be perfectly positioned in such a way that if you jump right when you think you need to land and jump, the lightning will be there to get you. Yep. And it is
timed just right.
I did not like that there was no benefit to bonking him.
I mean, the benefit is you get to reprieve for a little bit, but
but
it's
the same
not
reprieve
like
as if you just
away.
dodge him.
Oh, is it timed the same?
It's exactly the same timing
that.
as if you bonk him or if you dodge him.
I only ended up bonking him a couple times where I was just naturally near the back of the screen. Yeah.
I may have found one of those hidden jump techs that you were talking about in level 4 here.
Okay.
You can bounce off those spiky ice crystals with a jump if you time it right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Was that...
Yeah, spike jumps are a thing.
It is very precise and difficult to do. But yes, you can jump off a spike.
Okay. Good. I was like, I think this is a thing I can do, and I did it 3 or 4 times. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't crazy.
Nope. It is also not every... it requires an angle or something, right?
Oh, okay. You got to be coming in at an angle.
Is that right? I don't want to misspeak. It's been a long time since I played it.
Yeah. I like the wind.
Yeah.
The wind is a cool
The wind
mechanic.
gets devious. You will curse the wind soon.
Oh.
as the levels go on. But how do you feel about the clouds, Andy?
I cannot time those clouds.
Okay.
And the bounce seems different on every single one. And there are some that just disappear. The pink ones just go away. But the blue ones, sometimes you can bounce extremely high. And then the next time I jump on the same exact one, I don't go anywhere.
Yeah, the timing of hitting jump right at the bottom of the dip when you land on the cloud is really, really finicky.
It's bizarre, dude. I had so much trouble with the clouds. All the way until the end of the game, when clouds show up, I always had issues. I just I just couldn't. Andrew, I'm so happy you have the same issues because the clouds sucked, dude. I hated the clouds. Every single time they showed up, I was sad because I knew I was going to die 100 times.
The most interesting new mechanic seems to be these bubbles. I can't quite figure out. They seem to carry your momentum sometimes, or maybe on the dash. And then you can dash again maybe afterwards to get out of them.
Yeah, so you can dash out of them, but if you fall out of them, I think you get your dash back.
I believe that's right.
If you wait for them to run out, you get your dash back.
It seems like you can also carry them if you dash into them to like move you a little bit inside of them.
I don't know if that's the case.
I mean, it might move you like, a few pixels over here or there, but it does carry, I think, some level of your momentum, unless you let it run all the way to the end and then you just fall, right?
Okay.
I want to.
That one seems like I don't quite understand all the things it's trying to teach me about the bubble. I don't know.
Yeah, they're a pretty primary mechanic in that level, as far as I remember. So you'll keep using them.
Okay. I'm just hoping it's a little shorter. This level is this. I don't know. Are they just this long going forward now?
Yeah,
This
they all start to get pretty long.
It's tough. It's tough to say I didn't finish the chapter for like 4 or 5 sit downs to play the game. You know, you don't feel as accomplished.
I think that's okay though. Honestly, this game is meant to be hard, and I understand why they break the levels up the way they do. But the fact that it saves in between, you know, like in the various rooms or whatever, or that you can save, I guess, right?
Yeah, and there are the checkpoints too that break
Right.
up each chapter.
Sure.
Yeah, and you can come back through those points, and really there's no shame in leaving and coming back to those points later, because I can definitely remember times where I was just like, nope, I'm too frustrated at this to continue. I must stop now.
I've run into 1 or 2 times that I'm very frustrated about the way that rooms work, where I'll jump down in a room to go down on the path and then realize, oh, I'll get like a room later. I'm like, oh, I know how to get that strawberry. I got to go back. And then I can't make the jumps back correctly to get to the front of the room, because I need to start from the main entrance of the room instead of the exit of the room, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it just respawns me at the exit every time, because that's where I came into the room. I wish like it was a proximity to death and not like where you entered.
Sometimes you may want to check those like mid-level checkpoints, because those may be easier to
go back
that
to
way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the levels in the game are really not designed for you to go backwards unless they are very specifically designed for you to go backwards. And there are a couple of places like that.
Yeah.
Right.
There's definitely been some rooms where I'm like, I cannot get backwards through this room. I just can't do it.
You're like, that jump just doesn't work that way in the
Nope.
other direction. That's just not a thing.
Yeah.
And frequently you get gated out, so even if you could make it back to the beginning, it won't actually let you go backwards.
That's true. Sometimes they have you can't jump through this, but you can
A
jump
little
down
platform
past it.
or a barrier or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're back to like in the second level, you could go down, and now you can't go down again. And it's like, oh man, you're taking mechanics away from me. You're putting them back. I'm getting a little, can never tell what you want from me, game.
You learned really fast. You tried to go down and then you died. And you're like, all right, not doing that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sticking with it. I'm not saying I'm quitting. I just the level 3 put me into a little bit of a spiral on thing. I'm having trouble sometimes. So far, chapter 4 has been easier so far, but I think we're still in the teaching me phase of that level.
I think you'll find the difficulty more incremental
I see.
until you get to the very end.
Oh,
I want to say that there are some of the levels I remember being more maze-like than difficult room-like. At some points, I definitely just remember being like, where do I go? I'm just lost.
Yes, that happened to me in some of the later ones too.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you have to like pull up a map or something?
There's a map. Y'all got a map? I didn't get a map.
I'm sure some internet has the map.
Yeah, you can. You can
yeah,
find that.
sure, out there. Yeah. I never found one.
No,
Or I didn't look it up, but I definitely remember going like, all right, I've seen this room. I've exited this way. I'll go over here. All right. I'm back here again. Where else can I go? And
Yeah.
invariably, it was always like, oh, there was an exit in this corner of the room or something I just never saw.
or a fake wall that I didn't try pressing against.
Or just some kind of weird thing going on that was like, oh, if I had tried this, it would have been no problem. I just never did.
Yeah, it's just a tough feeling to feel like you're struggling at the game. I mean, I have a lot more deaths, I think, than you guys. So I did switch controllers midway.
I was going to say, you switch
Yeah.
controllers and control schemes in the middle, which is like, you couldn't have gotten me to do that. No way.
I even tried to do your D-pad way, because I did notice 1 or 2 times that I did an angled dash when I meant to go straight.
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't get it. Like the D-pad, I felt slow on the D-pad. I don't know why.
Okay. I don't know what to tell you. I played almost the entire game on a D-pad.
You know what else you could play, but you shouldn't play on a D-pad? I don't think you should actually play this at all, actually. I revised my statement. Don't play this game. It doesn't play well on a D-pad, and it doesn't play well on the analog stick much either. I tried Bomberman Online R64.
That's a mouthful.
It sure is. I don't know if you remember, but I brought to BlizzCon a couple years ago that Bomberman game that we put on the Switch and we all played looking at the screen together.
Oh yeah, okay. I have vague
Sure.
memories of this.
Yeah. Bomberman is a cool game, and that Bomberman on the Switch and that cool little feature of being able to like sit around a table and play Bomberman was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Bomberman with Nintendo internet lag, not fun.
That tracks.
So they tried to make a battle royale style game with it's kind of like a mix between battle royale and like those other games Nintendo's been doing, like the 99s, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you start on a normal Bomberman map with 4 players, and you do the normal Bomberman things of dropping bombs and getting upgrades. I'll talk about that more in a second. And then you try and kill the other players on your map. Mostly you don't kill the other players on your map on the first map. And then you have to move to the next map, and you have to like go to this what thing they call the safe zone as they drop more tiles and bombs and all stuff all over the map to reset it. And they'll add more players to it, and you like then go do it again with your upgrades, and then people start to die when you're like kicking bombs across the map and all that sort of stuff. Bombs explode really far, or they can get thrown, or they can get picked up, that sort of thing. All the old Bomberman upgrades. That's where the lag comes in. Another problem with that game, especially with the upgrades, they have characters in the game. You know, like the bomber people, the men and women are different colors and they're different skins and all that. But there's also like Solid Snake is in that game
Sure.
because it's owned by Konami.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Solid Snake has different stats than Bomberman, who has different stats than Runnerman, who has different stats than this and that and the other.
You got to differentiate so you can sell skins, right?
Yeah, but that means there's a canonical best Bomberman choice.
Is that the case in the Battle Royale games that you played?
And generally not, right? Like,
So then shouldn't it theoretically also be possible here? I'm not saying that it is, because Bomberman is a very different kind of game than those kind of games.
yeah. I mean, just usually cosmetics are cosmetics. They don't usually come with like, oh, well, this character can only hold 3 upgrades on the bomb, but that character can hold 10 upgrades on a bomb.
I mean, that seems like a wild disparity.
The character with 10 upgrades on a bomb can only hold 1 upgrade on speed, but the character with 3 upgrades on a bomb can hold 4 upgrades on speed. You know what I mean? Like,
But I mean, in that sense, it doesn't seem any different from playing, say, Mario Kart, where you trade weight for speed.
I think maybe in Mario Kart it works better because
Maybe it's just better balance.
they're just minute differences, really. And like, yeah, and even in Mario Kart, there's an answer, right? Like, motorcycles are generally better.
I mean, I blame them for not adding more penalties to motorcycles, right?
But at least in Mario Kart, you've paid $60 for the game and you have everything. Bomberman Online 64 is free to play. And
a free to play game.
all those skins. Anyway, I tried it. You don't have to. Don't play that game. It has been
Thank you,
deleted
Andrew.
off my Switch.
Thank you for saving us all from Bomberman Online 64R Accent Core plus whatever. I'm being mean to Guilty Gear people there by bringing Guilty Gear stuff up. Guilty Gear seems like an okay game.
Yeah.
This is not. Don't play Bomberman, I guess.
Oh, JJ, we need to fill people in on this month's Subspace Transmission watch because it's a long one.
Yes. This month we are going to have folks watch Star Trek.
all of it, just all of Star Trek, beginning to end.
The J.J. Abrams reboot movie.
the Kelvin timeline because we decided we've done every other timeline we can think of.
So the first J.J. Abrams movie, Star Trek, that is the one that folks should watch this month.
The Beastie Boys one.
I guess the Beastie Boys is in that movie. You're right.
It sure is.
Man, it once brought my opinion down a little more.
I'm just trying to psych you up, man. It's going to be a
I-
hard watch. Not all of it is
Yeah.
tough. Some of it is very good.
I remember liking that movie.
I do
we'll
too.
see
Yeah.
if I come away with that same opinion.
You know what else we should talk about on the next Subspace, maybe, if we don't have enough time, which we may not. I watched that documentary, What We Left Behind.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
I liked it.
I guess we could, yeah. I mean, we could just cover it here. I thought it was nice. Done.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, if people want to say that I'm wrong about Bomberman Online R64,
You could send those to podcast@weweregamers.com. That is podcast@weweregamers.com. And you can find all of our podcasts separated as they are on various, to the various topics, subspace transmissions and carbon scoring and other things on our YouTube. You search for We Were Gamers, all one word, on YouTube. Hit that subscribe. That would be very helpful there. You can also find this podcast and all the other ones on We Were Gamers on Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever fine podcasts are distributed. Scaling that mountain is going to be really hard.
What were you thinking, man?
Well, what's funny is it actually, the combat now feels easier to me, and I think it's because right before Celeste and Trails the Third, I was playing so much Horizon Zero Dawn.
I think what he's saying is you're gonna not have your Celeste muscle memory now that you've taken a break. Because every time I go away from Celeste for like I keep going on vacations for like 3-day, 4-day weekends, right? And I come back and I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna die like 20 times on these jumps.
Nah, I'm not worried about that at this point. I just sort of chalk up the deaths to playing the B-sides anyway.
I applaud you for trying the B-sides. I don't think I'm gonna do it.
Well, I want to see the end of the last chapter.
Yeah.
Huh.
You might get by okay on some of the B-sides of the first level and maybe the second level, Andrew. I don't know. You didn't like that third one too much, so maybe stay out of there.
Yeah.
I definitely found, I think I said this before, but I found the B-sides much easier going back to them, having made it to the end of the game. At least the first 3 or 4.
Yeah. I think that's the right way to do it.